Hi, I am Reena Bowden. This is SEO in 2025 Additional Insights.
Reena, what's your additional insight for SEO in 2025?
Oh, my additional insight, David, is collaboration, global collaboration.
Global collaboration. So is this collaboration between other SEOs, other digital teams, everyone in the business? Who are we talking about here?
I was hoping that you would ask this question. I purposely left out multifunction, and that's where I want to really drive the curiosity. So here's what we've been working on. We've been working on global collaboration. So we have teams around the world. We have teams that are partly dedicated to some SEO work, but most importantly, teams that are from different countries, that English is not their main language, just like myself, and that are based in different time zones, different countries as well. So you can see the cultural diversity, different backgrounds in different locations, different approaches, but most importantly, different functions. So we have created that global SEO network, worldwide, international. We have deployed collaboration, and we have in that global SEO network different functions. We have people from content writing. We have people from industry marketing. We have people from webmasters, DX, user experience. So the broad spectrum of marketing. So instead of looking at, okay, we'll educate people with SEO around the world and hire SEO people, we did things sort of on a different approach. So we went out there and looked at what are the functions that are essential to the creation of a global SEO network, and how do we get experts to thrive within that network. So automatically, when we're doing this, we're looking at removing silos. So when you start working with different teams, so multi-functions, multi-disciplines around the world, you start bringing down these silos. And that was really instrumental. And how we did that, there's a lot around it as well. There's why we did it, how we did it, when, and then you have like step-by-step approach and things like that. So yeah, it was a journey, but it was a journey that brought us increase in performance and results as well.
Okay, so you finished off by saying an increase in performance and results, and I was going to ask you, what's the measurable impact of doing this? So can you actually say definitively that by doing this, by being more open, by reducing silos, by communicating with different SEO teams around the world, then it's going to positively impact your own job role's success?
Yes, absolutely, David. So if we start with the why, if we look at keywords, just some examples of keywords, and more than keyword, a topic, an area where discussions are happening, where we need to be present. So myself at SAS Software, so SAS is a leader in data and AI. Some typical areas where we want to be present would be analytics, big data, artificial intelligence. So we're talking about top of funnel, we're talking about areas where we want to be present, right? So if we're talking about these, from an SEO point of view, we're looking at untapped potential, right? When you look at artificial intelligence, so I've got some numbers in front of me, 1.1 million global search queries on average per month, big data, 350,000, analytics, same, and so on and so forth. So if you look at this from an SEO point of view, like, okay, yes, of course, we want to be ranking in those areas. But these areas and that potential that you have in the organic search space is not only for SEOs. It's also, if you're sitting in content, this is something that, from a content writing perspective, you want to be visible. If you're in the web team, if you are in the UX team, your DX team, experience, user journey improvement, you want to be visible in those areas as well. So we all want to deliver on that goal. But here's what we've done. We dreamt about something that, maybe this is something that we can do. So what about if we get around as one team around these topics, around these areas where discussions are happening, our buyers are looking at, our customers are. And then what if we were able to get together, we were able to remove these silos, we have all these functions on board in a global SEO network, and we all have the same objective, the same targets, and we align on how we are going to deliver that SEO. And then boom, that's what we did. So just three numbers to show you literally just three KPIs. Organic search traffic increase 42%. Conversions, so a number of form fills, 22%. And more importantly, source pipeline impact, and that's looking at organic search only, 53%. So that's really telling, right? So we're able to target better. We're able to look at where are the areas where these conversations on top of funnel are happening. And we are able to align with other teams as well, with multifunctions. And the beauty when creating multifunction SEO network is that you tap into their expertise as well. So hopefully we're starting to look at things like 1 + 1 = more than 2.
So you've certainly highlighted the benefits of SEO teams working together, of having the same goals globally, working to the same objectives. I guess it's a bit more challenging though when you're trying to work with other marketing channels or marketing teams, because everyone might not necessarily have the same objectives. So how do you work together more effectively in a situation when you don't have the same objectives?
Oh, that's a great question. So to start with, it has been an evolution more than a revolution, right? So you will have from the get-go some teams that would be more aligned, more or less. And then you will also have those corporate objectives as well. You're right in terms of, all teams are not aligned from the get-go. There's a bit of an evolution there and a bit of a journey to have here. So when you look at, for example, some of the steps that we followed when we created the Global SEO Network, it wasn't a creation from scratch. So a lot of that was an evolution. So you would see like pockets of work already happening in various areas in the world. You will have different levels of expertise. You will have different levels of knowledge as well. And more or less, the approach to delivering to that target, to that shared corporate target, will be more or less aligned. So one of the key things, exactly to your point, was aligning. So there was a number of workshops. So of course, because we are based all around the world, so they had to be virtual. A number of virtual workshops took place where we would really break down those swim lanes. So who does what? So each swim lane, if you picture a sort of swimming pool with like different lanes, you will have a swim lane, and each swim lane will be a function. Each function will be a key function to the creation of the SEO network. And then you layer over this the corporate objectives. So in terms of corporate objective, it's not just the point of like, okay, well, the business wants to be visible in artificial intelligence, and we have to go and tackle just that area. There needs to be a thought process in terms of the route to success to that corporate objective. And that's really when that interlock comes around. So just to recap, so you have those swim lanes, you have those corporate objectives that come around, and then you have interlock points. And this is really where we all meet. That has hugely facilitated the alignment with all of these different functions, all of these different markets, and all of these different disciplines as well. And that really, I would say, has played a key part in the success of the network.
I love the swim lane analogy about how different digital channels have to perhaps sometimes swim apart, but I guess going in the same direction. And these corporate objectives that you're talking about there, and sometimes coming together to actually ensure that everyone's aligned. So how often do marketing departments have to come together, and what does that coming together look like?
So I suppose that can be really different in each organization. At least in our organization, we kick off at the beginning of the year, and we have our corporate objectives set up, and then obviously trickles down. So in terms of how often, so once that global SEO network was created, we had everyone on board. It's a very streamlined process. We meet on a weekly basis. We find 1 hour every single week where we all collaborate, whatever time zone we're in. So it might be a bit early for the US. It might be a little bit late for APAC if you're based there. Obviously, I'm quite fortunate. I'm based in London, and any which time does work for me, but we make time for it. So on a weekly basis, we have a 10.5 hours difference in time zones that we work on. But also, there's a lot of project management as well. So I can appreciate that. A lot of our teams around the world have other commitments as well. I mentioned earlier that they are multifunctions. So they will have their jobs and main tasks that they will have to be attending to throughout the day. Some of these guys will be, for example, at an event, an in-person event in the market. So as much as we want to work together once a week, and we do every effort to get together, that's very, very important, especially in a world where we are all virtual and we don't get to meet in person. We have also a huge amount of heavy lifting in project management as well. After our SEO meetings, you will have a lot of items that I will be following up on. We'll have a scope progress as well. So how much work have we done? What do we expect to be doing from next week on? And then you'll have, your weekly, monthly review, your quarterly QBRs, and then annual reviews as well. So I would say that we keep the finger on the pulse like really, really closely. And we monitor, of course, we have to monitor algorithm changes and competitive landscape and things like that. So I would say that we keep really close to the network.
Okay, so what does this network creation and this working closely with other marketing channels mean for the skills required to be a successful head of SEO in 2025 versus perhaps what it used to be a few years ago?
I think things evolve, to be fair, David, because it might be the trend for 2025, but things can change as well. So we can see that, with the advent of, artificial intelligence, a lot of things are changing. However, what I would say is that the importance is whoever is part of the network, that we're moving together. For us, it has been, I would say, I can't pinpoint on just one thing. I think that the success really lives in us coming together, and that has really been the key, to unlocking that success. But if I had to pick a few examples, and I would say they're not in isolation, I would say working a lot more closely with technical teams and having those technical teams working a lot more closely with those that are a lot less technical and that would need less technical skill in their job on a day-to-day basis. And bringing those together, I think, has fueled what we see in terms of results. So if we look at, for example, technical SEO, and that's one of the things I like to say as well. With the creation of that network, we're creating space for our experts to thrive. So we don't want technical experts to come into that space in the global SEO network and dumb it down for us. We want a technical SEO expert to become even more technical. And same goes for our content guys. So our content guys will be creating event content, top of funnel, highly search engine friendly. But within that content journey as well, they will start learning more about technical, they will start learning more about internal linking, they will start learning more from our UX guys in terms of journey mapping and things like that, content gap analysis and this and that. So I would say that the bringing together those skills has created that formula to success. Because then you have a group of experts that came together from multidisciplines, multifunctions, and things that they like as well that are different from your typical team. And then these guys were then enabled to grow and become, I would say, to develop more of that expertise within that function that they have. So I think that was the key to unlocking it.
If an SEO is struggling for time, what should they stop doing right now so they can spend more time doing what you suggest in 2025?
You know what? I think if you're struggling for time, one of the keys, us at least, and one of the things that I will say is remove the silos. Remove the silos, access to more and get more. It's just really telling from what we've done, the Global SEO Network couldn't have been created if we didn't remove all these silos. And now we can see the aggregated efforts. So I would say that collaboration, if you have a setup internally where there's a lot of silos, start looking at those silos, start removing them, start having that collaboration across functions. Because SEO goes so much further and the knowledge spreads so much further into the organization when you are able to bring SEO to the table of these multiple functions. So yeah, remove silos.
So if an SEO is listening to this and they're thinking, I'd like to be a global SEO in some large organization in the future, would you say that people management is a more important skill set than technical SEO?
I think that's a great takeaway, David, because Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, right? It's a balance as well. So you will have the people management, and then you'll have hands-on SEO work as well. But I would say that finding this connection and this collaboration areas probably plays a key part. So for us, obviously, it's been an evolution more than a revolution. We didn't set off saying, okay, we need this. We did draw the final picture, and then we say, guys, let's go on a journey, and this is what we want to achieve. Because when you have a picture, an end picture in mind, it becomes easier for everyone to draw the same thing. So I would say that, yes, that there do need to be some sort of guidance, but I would say that building on what you have already and looking at the end goal would really draw that journey. We all have different, leadership style. We all have different project management style. And I think the key here is really to play on what is the strength from that team.
Reena Bowden is a global SEO network lead at SaaS Software, and you can find her over at saas.com. Reena, thanks so much for adding your additional insight to SEO in 2025.
Thank you for having me, David.
I've been your host, David Bain, and you've been listening to SEO in 2025 Additional Insights, a Majestic series that complements the original podcast, video series, and book. Find out more at SEOin2025.com.